I was really in doubt if I will find it as a single varietal dry wine. It is equally a bit of an invisible variety with around 110 hectares only and mostly being used as a blending partner in the Tokaji Aszú blend. It is really rare that we find it actually like as a dry single varietal wine. Really interesting actually. Citric, clearly, but what is that? So that's surprising me in the nose actually. And this grape is like a fairly new variety. It was crossed in 1951. Also it has a story because it's not only like an invisible variety, but it is also like named after an invisible man. Supported on the palate, 13% alcohol, like a medium plus acidity. But also like a slight creaminess, roundness, body, really good structure. Good, after a brief stop in Tokaj, I came actually home with something truly exciting. If you might know the region of Tokaj, you have heard about the famous dessert wines Tokaji Aszú. And there are literally 6 grape varieties allowed to use in this famous dessert wine blend. And one of them, I was really in doubt if I will find it as a single varietal dry wine. Péter Pincészet is actually producing the Zéta variety as a 100% dry wine with 13% alcohol, and we are going to taste this in this video. But first a bit about the grape variety. Zéta is actually kind of fascinating because it is, I want to say like nearly like an invisible grape variety because it exactly is very rarely produced as a single varietal dry wine, often just blended in the Tokaji Aszú blend. Also it has a story because it's not only like an invisible variety, but it is also like named after an invisible man. So, because Zéta is actually like a character in a Hungarian novel written by the famous Hungarian author Géza Gardoni. And here Zéta is actually like a Greek slave at the court of Attila the Hun. And the fun thing about us, he is a kind of invisible man. Because he's like in the story like walking all over the court, like unseen, hiding himself and having like a lot of interesting adventures naturally. And this is kind of interesting connotation that this grape variety actually has this name of this like invisible man because it is equally a bit of an invisible variety with around 110 hectares only and mostly being used as a blending partner in the Tokaji Aszú blend. It is really rare that we find it actually like as a dry single varietal wine as presented here by Péter Pincészet. And interestingly, this grape variety had actually a totally different name until 1909. It was called Oremus. But because Oremus is also one of the most famous single varietal sites in the region of Tokaj, one decided in 1999 to avoid name confusion and gives this grape variety simply a new name. And this grape is like a fairly new variety. It was crossed in 1951 by a guy called Ferenc Király, and this guy has been obsessed with naming his grape varieties with the letter Z. So he not only like developed Zéta, but also like Zengő, Zenit and Zeusz. Some of them we will taste in the series. But back to where we actually are, this grape is solely grown in the region of Tokaj in Hungary, 2 hours northeast of Budapest, a region that is most famously known, as I already said, for its like dessert wine blends, the Tokaji Aszú wines, which are noble water-affected wines similar to the wines of Sauternes and had like a massive prestige within the 18th and 19th century. Today, a little bit like under the radar again, mostly known to wine experts and people who really deal with wine, but on a strong rise to get back to their old greatness. And it also has a significant place within this like 6 grape varieties that are today allowed for the Tokaji Aszú blend because it is one of the varieties that is ripening the earliest. It is very highly susceptible to botrytis, which of course for the noble water-affected dessert wines is highly important and therefore like an important backbone within this blend. Today with around 110 hectares in the region of Tokaj, definitely something to be aware of next time you open Tokaji Aszú. But let's have a look at this dry Zéta from Péter Pincészet. As I said, a total rarity and something we found in a local like wine shop in the village of Tokaj. And this winery is a small little family estate today driven by Peter Akos, being located between the villages of Tokaj and Tassal. So color-wise, we see something fairly light and greenish, like greenish reflections here, pale, very light wine, 13% alcohol nonetheless, so we should like expect some substance and some depth. But this is like truly the story here. I mean, I said it is one of the like early ripening varieties. So naturally it is also like one of the varieties in Tokaj that is picked the earliest and thereby also with the highest and freshest acidity levels. And naturally we shouldn't expect that there's like a deep or intense color from big like maturity or like ripening here. Because naturally as an early ripening variety it has to be also picked early. So in the nose, really interesting actually. Citric, clearly, but what is that? So that's surprising me in the nose actually, because usually, you know, the associations come very easily to me, but here it's kind of interesting. The fruit is like somewhere between extremely fresh and acidity driven. I definitely have like a good like lemon zest here, nearly like a bathroom cleaner perspective. I get something chemical, something like rubber, maybe something like bergamot. I find it not utterly floral, but I find it fresh and acidity driven, fruity, but gets a peach connotation. I would really say like unripe peach. So you buy like a supermarket peach before season and you just bite it and it's stone hard and it's way too like underripe actually. Very stony minerality, reminds me even after like concrete after rainfall a little bit, like wet stone. Interesting. That's surprising actually. I did not expect it. I expected like something like a fairly simple like acidity fresh driven white wine, but here is like in complexity that I have even some difficulties with some of the connotations to put my words on. But also like the winemaker puts it actually like in old oak barrels, which gives the whole like idea here like a little bit of substance, a little bit of creaminess, a light malolactic connotation maybe, a little bit of Parmesan cheese, which really gives us some substance and some body already in the nose. Supported on the palate, 13% alcohol, like a medium plus acidity, but also like a slight creaminess, roundness, body, really good structure, making this like a really delightful wine just here, like in the summer weather on the terrace, but also like having it with some charcuterie or some light fish dishes, or for example some cheese platters. Definitely like a good fit to choose for this wine. Something chemical here, something oily, also like something, yeah, from the citric perspective, maybe some bergamot or something that, yeah, reminds me a little bit of this like weird connotation of toilet cleanser, something really refreshing, something really nicely lively and fresh. Fresh, lively, medium finish. I think this is fun. I think this is interesting to share with friends. It's something that you definitely can have in the fridge and just like open on a Thursday afternoon and have like a glass of wine after work or something nice while you prepare the food. Something interesting to show your friends that are like wine fanatics or like interested in learning about new grape varieties. So this was like a fun surprise, like randomly finding this bottle like in a wine shop in Tokaj. Péter Pincészet really creating here a beautiful example of the Zéta variety as a single variety dry wine, absolutely rare to get into the glass, highly recommended just to try. Thank you so much at this point again for watching this video, following the journey of like tasting 1368 and probably some more grape varieties. We will upload some more videos from Tokaj like in the coming like days and weeks. And naturally, I'm very thankful for a like or like a subscribe, or if you share this video with like some wine loving friends that you have. Cheers and see you around here.